watching Numbskull News, and today I'm going to get into kind of, sort of, college football realignment, but I'm going to talk about the ACC. The ACC fans have commented on some of my videos, and I've gotten, quite a few comments, actually, at least, for this channel. But, no, but y'all have been really cool. You haven't really agreed with a lot of my stuff, which is fine. Don't. The last thing I want is a bunch of damn sycophants on here thinking I'm some brilliant piece of shit, which I'm not, clearly. But you guys have been respectful. You've been concise. You brought some facts, very logical comments on some of my videos, and I appreciate it, obviously. And I have to give a shout out to one guy in particular, Tar Heel. That's a great guy to have in the comments, man. And there's some things I agree with you on, but there's some things I may not. As respectful of you as you guys have been, I get this overwhelming sense that the ACC fan thinks that they are better than the Big 12. Now, I will have to say, though, I'll have to admit that as far as right now, 2022 and going forward, the ACC is more valuable than the Big 12. I think y'all have more valuable brands than the Big 12 has. The aforementioned Tar Heel has talked about how basically the leftovers of the Big 12 and the leftovers of the Pac-12, each team is basically has the same value, and I think I have to agree with that. The evidence is kind of there that the Big 12 in their TV deal, they have this pro rata clause that allows them to go out and get Power 5 schools, and of course, who else are you going to target but the Pac-12? They're the ones with the TV deal coming up very shortly. So I think that's correct. But I think the one thing Tar Heel tends to forget is that it's not the individual school and the value of that school. It's the grouping of the school, the conference itself. So if you take the 12 members minus Texas and OU, of course, those 12 that's going to be moving forward in the new Big 12, they do have quite a bit of value. And I think from right now, that's more value than the Pac-12, considering that Fox didn't want to do business with the Pac-12. They wanted to do business with the Big 12. ESPN could not come to any kind of an agreement with the Pac-12, but were able to come to terms with the Big 12. And it was for more money than they were paying out with the Big 12 with Texas and OU. So minus Texas and OU, the Big 12 got more money. To me, that shows that the Big 12 has a substantial amount of value, and I think potential for even more money, bigger payday in the future. And the Pac-12 so far has not shown the capabilities of getting a TV deal, and with teams like Oregon, Washington, and Stanford wanting to leave the conference for greener pastures, kind of tells me that they don't have a lot of potential for the future. But enough about the Pac-12. We're talking about the ACC. It seems to me, even though y'all are very respectful, but y'all seem to think y'all are on a higher plane than us. So allow me, your humble Big 12 fan here, your humble redneck in the middle of Texas who doesn't have shit, doesn't know shit. But I do know one thing. What happened to the Big 12 and what is happening to the Pac-12 is going to happen to the ACC. Your Blue Bloods, Clemson, Florida State, Miami, they're going to abandon you for more money. It's going to happen. There's no amount of reworking a TV deal. There's no amount of 8 teams trying to do whatever that's going to save or stop that from happening to the ACC. It's going to happen to you. Why? Because you are not the SEC and you are not the Big Ten. You have no ability to get a deal for $100 million per school. And if you can't do that, those blue bloods aren't going to stick around. They're going to go where they can make that money. Now, I don't think they're going anywhere till 2036. I really don't. But come 2036, they're gone. So what does that mean? What does that mean? What does the ACC look like without the Blue Bloods? Well, you look like the leftovers, don't you? Of course you do. You look just like us. Not any different. And at that point, does any of those ACC teams have more value than any of the Big 12 teams or any of the Pac 12 teams? No. Does it? Louisville's not more valuable than Baylor, and it's not any more valuable than Utah. It's just Louisville, which is a nice program, good basketball school, pretty good football school. There's nothing elite, nothing blue blood about it, but it does have value. The problem y'all have is by then the Big 12 will be very well established in what it is, which would be the third most powerful conference. And once you lose your blue bloods, that's going to be just the nail in the coffin of that. That will cement that. All right, you can deny it all you want up until 2036, but after that, that's exactly what the Big 12 is going to be. And at that point, can those rest of those teams do like what the Big 12 did and coalesce and come together? That's the problem the Pac-12 has right now. Like I said before, with Oregon, Washington, and Stanford, they're not exactly committing wholeheartedly to that conference. Now, it definitely helps when you had your core 8 Big 12 teams that nobody else wanted. They had no choice but to come together. Think about that. Think about what that does to those ADs, those presidents, those universities, and those fans when they realize Pac-12 doesn't want you, and the ACC doesn't want you, and the SEC doesn't want you, and the Big Ten sure as hell doesn't want you. All right, that really fosters a us against the world mentality. And when you add in 4 group of 5 schools that are the best of the group of 5, and they've been shunned forever. All right, they've been trying like hell to get to a Power 5, but they've been shunned this whole time. And finally, they're being brought in. So you got 8 teams that coalesced. You have 4 teams that want to get in there and do the damn best they can. Then you got them all meeting in one conference. I'm sorry, that's the ingredients to make a conference survive and thrive for a very, very long time and make it very exciting. That's the biggest problem with your TV deal. You're all the way out there in 2036. By then, a lot of the groundwork's going to be laid for what things are. The danger now is that when you do lose those teams, I'm not sure, if the Big 12 is going to want any of those other leftovers. The Pac-12 probably won't even exist at that time. Now we have to get down to what we were talking about before, value. So what is the value of the ACC without the Blue Bloods? And keep in mind, that's 3. I mean, you may lose UNC to the Big 10 or Virginia to the Big 10. And I have a feeling the Big 12 are going to be in a position where they can snatch a team or 2 if they so chose to. That's here nor there. I'm not saying, other YouTubers out there will say, well, the Big 12 will take, Louisville, we'll take Pitt, we'll take this and that, we'll have a backyard brawl forever, or whatever. But I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the Big 12 are going to take any of those teams. I mean, we've had enough trouble trying to take teams away from the Pac-12, and the Pac-12 is in shambles. It sucks. It's going bankrupt. It's a ridiculous league right now. That to me totally sucks. The only card they have to play is a late night window, and that's it. The ACC offers substantially more than that. Even without those blue bloods, it's still one of the best basketball conferences in the nation. Still a pretty good football conference. Not bad. It would be enjoyable and in a good time zone. There's nothing wrong with the Eastern time zone. It's a hell of a lot better than the Western time zone. You have more to offer than just a late night window. But what is that value without those 3 teams? And I guarantee you it's not the value the Big 12 have even now. But the ACC will still have value. It just won't be near what it is now. I don't think that comp is going to work out for you as far as Texas and OU leaving. Big 12 value goes up. It's about timing. It's about teams that you're able to add. The problem is by then, I mean, who are you going to add? I mean, Memphis, I think, would be a really good add. I mean, there's South Florida, maybe Tulane, maybe SMU. Who knows? That's the pool of teams you're going to have to work to, fill in the gaps. That's if you want to fill in the gaps. Maybe you'd just be fine with the 10 or 11 teams that remain. I'm assuming the Big 12 value is going to keep going up and up and up. But that's what you get when you have a unified force of teams that the two big mega conferences don't want anything to do with. Not on an individual basis, they don't. Because we've seen the Big 12 does bring ratings. And as we speak right now, my hometown team, TCU Horned Frogs, are actually in the college football playoff. Now, if they lose a game, we all know that's going to get ripped away from them because no one respects anybody unless they're a blue blood in that CFP meeting where all these assholes never watch a damn game. They only know reputations. So we know that'll happen. But as far as right now, they're number 4. Should be number 3. I mean, I don't know how the hell Michigan, outside of just brand and name value, is number 3, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about the ACC, and I will concede your value is greater than the Big 12's value at this particular moment in time. However, that's not going to continue to be the case when your blue bloods do like our blue bloods did and leave for greener pastures. It's going to happen, and when it does, you're going to find that you're no better than the Big 12. But that's projecting a long way off. Okay, I'm just looking at what happened to the Big 12, what happened to the Pac-12, and what's going to happen to you. And I think that's what you got to prepare for. I think that's the delusion that ACC fans seem to have, is that that's not going to happen to them. Well, I mean, how many parents out there have had conversations with their kids, and the kids, oh, that ain't going to happen to me. Oh, no, of course, you're above that. No, you can drink and drive all you want. Nothing bad will ever happen. It happens to other people. It'll never happen to you. I'm telling you now. I'm warning you now. Over a decade in advance, it's going to happen to you. And when it does, all right, that's going to be a big, strong come to Jesus meeting for all those teams that are left. Now, if you're a Florida State fan, who gives a damn, right? You're going to be in one of the two mega conferences. Same thing with the Miami fan. Same thing with the Clemson fan. Possibly a Virginia fan. Possibly a North Carolina fan will find themselves in one of those two conferences. The rest of y'all, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. But you're going to have to start from scratch at that point. The Big 12 will already be well over a decade ahead of you dealing with those challenges of not having that trump card of having blue bloods in your conference and always having to fight and battle for everything that you get. It's not just going to be handed to you. Clemson will get that free ride, one loss, fine. One loss, we'd love to have Clemson in the playoff. If Florida State had one loss, if Miami had one loss, welcome to the playoff. TCU, no. Baylor, no. Oklahoma State, no. Cincinnati, no. UCF, no. Tech, no. It's not happening for us. But that makes us have to fight and claw even harder. And I understand there's going to be an expansion. We're probably going to, 12 playoff teams. So the chances of a one-loss Big 12 team getting in there is going to be way easier at that point. Mark my words, the seeding will never be worth a damn. But like I said before, I really appreciate all the ACC fans, the 1, 2, 3 of y'all that have left comments and always leave comments on my videos when it comes to college football. I appreciate it. You guys are respectful. You're fun. You come with facts and some research, and I appreciate that. Probably a lot more than I do. A lot more facts and research than I got. And just remember, I'm saying this out of love. I'm not trying to knock your proverbial dick in the dirt. All right. I'm just saying that your conference is as valuable as you may think it is now. That value is only headed one way. Anyway, that's all I got on this, and I'll be back with some other crap later. Bye.